But it does look like they will meet next week. Phil, what will that meeting look like? Let's discuss now with Katrina Pierson, national spokesperson for the Trump campaign, and Ben Howe, who is not a spokesperson for the Trump campaign. He's a contributing editor for redstate.com. He's a conservative who does not and will not support Donald Trump. Katrina, Donald Trump, Paul Ryan, we're told are going to meet next week in Washington. What does Paul Trump, definitely not that. What does Donald Trump intend to do at that meeting?
Well, I think he's going to talk to Paul Ryan and just say, look, you are not just against me, you are against a lot of your voters. And this is something that has been indicative for the last couple of cycles. You have had the leadership rejecting its own voters, silencing them, ignoring them, campaigning on one issue, and not following through. And that's why we have a nomination of Donald Trump.
If the Republican Speaker of the House does not come around to supporting the Republican nominee, do you think that Paul Ryan is still fit to be Speaker?
No, because this is about the party. Look, you have to understand the last two presidential cycles, we were told John McCain was a conservative. His conservative review scorecard is a 37%. We were told Mitt Romney was a conservative, and he was pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, pro-adoption, gave us Obamacare. And we were told to hold our noses and vote for the sake of the party. These same people are now telling us that because their guy didn't win, they want to hurt the party. The issue here isn't about Donald Trump. If you can't hold yourself to the standard that you hold everyone else, the problem is with you.
So just to be clear, when I said should Paul Ryan still be Speaker if he doesn't support Donald Trump, you say no.
He's Speaker of what? Just Speaker of the House of Representatives? We are a party. Paul Ryan needs to be, he's the leader right now. We're told Donald Trump is only the presumptive nominee. He's not the nominee until 12/37. So really, it's incumbent on Paul Ryan to help bring unity to the party.
Is that the position of Donald Trump in the campaign right now? Either Paul Ryan gets on board or we don't want him in that job?
They're going to meet next week. We'll find out.
Ben, what's your reaction to this? That's pretty strong words. Paul Ryan not fit to be Speaker if he is not willing to support Donald Trump.
I think it's surprising to hear that we need to get behind the candidate no matter what he said, no matter what he's done. This has been the exact opposite that the Tea Party taught us over the last several years. We were told that having an R next to your name didn't mean we needed to support you. Donald Trump is less conservative than Romney, who she just mentioned, less conservative than McCain, who, if I'm not mistaken, I think Katrina actually voted for Obama in 2008.
Yes,
you're
mistaken.
We've got oh, well, that's what I was told. But Donald Trump, who for decades supported Democrats, for decades created the gravy train that he's claiming now he wants to stop, comes into Washington and starts telling the Republican Party how they need to operate. We don't have to vote for him if we don't think he lines up with our values, and I certainly won't.
But Ben, didn't more Republicans in the primary vote for Donald Trump than any other candidate? What is Paul Ryan saying to these voters who have chosen, whether you like it or not, have chosen Donald Trump?
They need to pick which talking point they're going to use, because I was told they brought in millions of new voters, and these new voters came into open primaries. They turned primaries that may have gone to Ted Cruz, may have gone to Marco Rubio. Are these new voters that are coming out for the first time, or are these Republicans that were told to get in line in 2008 and 2012?
All right, Katrina, some of the positions that over time we've known that Paul Ryan is somewhat uncomfortable with. He spoke out against Donald Trump's proposal to ban Muslims from entering the United States temporarily. Any chance that Donald Trump will move off that position?
No, not at all. We still have a problem. We still have ISIS. We now see outposts being set up in Lebanon to bring even more of these infiltrators into the country. The bottom line is, and I was there from the beginning of the Tea Party movement, the Tea Partiers wanted to fight for a Republican conservative in the primaries. Never did the Tea Party ever say, go and support a Democrat, or worse, a Clinton for that matter. Everything is at stake. The voters have spoken. We have always said, let the process play out. The leader said, let the process play out. They wanted Donald Trump to sign a loyalty pledge, and now we are seeing everybody else fall backwards on their own words.
Ben?
No, first of all, I didn't want him to sign a loyalty pledge. I just wanted him to get out of the race. But in terms of what the Tea Party said in the very early years, what we wanted was a conservative. The party was just the vehicle that conservatism was using in order to get our values into Washington, D.C. Republican Party, if it doesn't represent conservatism, we have no obligation to support the candidate.
Well, look, wait, hang on, Katrina. You need people like Ben. At the end of the day, Donald Trump, if he wants to win the election, should be able to get rank and file Republicans, including including the Speaker of the House, to vote for him. So how are you going to do that?
Well, there's obviously an ideological difference between those on the ground and those in Washington, D.C. So the question is Donald Trump going to become the Washington establishment? I think not. And there is a huge difference here when it comes to what the Tea Party said. The Tea Party never advocated for Democrats. They never said, we're going to throw an election because we didn't get our way. And more importantly, conservatism, there was a pocket of conservatism in the Republican Party, and that was under Reagan. We have not been governing or leading as a party as conservatives since 1989.
Quickly, I want to get both your instant reactions. When you heard, I was surprised when Paul Ryan came out and said what he said yesterday. Ben, when you first heard it in 10 seconds or less, what was your first reaction?
My first reaction was thank you, and I hope that other people follow your lead.
Katrina, your first reaction?
I was actually not surprised, but I have to admit that this just is another indicator to disenfranchise Democrats and independents that Donald Trump is not a part of the system. He does not support a $1 trillion spending bill for special
You'd
interests.
rather have disenfranchised Democrats and independents than Paul Ryan?
No, we're just making the case. We are not a part of the establishment. We are outsiders, unlike what everyone wanted to say in the beginning. And this is just more proof.
You
There's
funded
more
the establishment.
More proof that Donald Trump is an outsider candidate and wants to go against Washington.
I want to give you the last word. Paul Ryan's going into this meeting. Paul Ryan still says he hopes he will end up supporting Donald Trump. If Paul Ryan ends up supporting Donald Trump, will you support Paul Ryan?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm very disappointed in Governor Perry. I'm very disappointed in Rand Paul. I'm disappointed in all the people who said, they called him a liar, a pathological liar. They were right. They said all of these things that they believed he was. Now they're turning around and saying he's our best chance for freedom. What does that say to voters?
If the Paul Ryan-Donald Trump meeting goes like this next week, that'll be interesting. Ben Howe, Katrina Pierson, thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.